on Best to Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
I would dare say a time kind of the essence for Guam, too, is the strategic minds that are crafting the strategy as we try and return to economic prosperity. Foremost among those, former Governor Carl Gutierrez, who's now the CEO of the Guam Visitors Bureau. He joins us right now in the KOM News Zoom room. Gov, good morning. Always a pleasure. Buenas.
Good morning, Jason. Chris, how are you? I was very intrigued listening to Dr. Wynn, and I really, he messaged me this thing yesterday about the bingo variants, and I said, oh no. So the best thing that we could do is probably, like he said, not look forward to a herd immunity anymore, but just be able to live with it, because I think, as Governor said, although maybe she didn't articulate it as well as we would like to, but I understood the essence that, listen, we're okay with the hospitals, and everybody's got it now. Let's just figure out if we can live with Omicron as a regular flu. But then again, we don't know what this bingo variants are going to do.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
And he's saying bingo variant because there's the B1, there's the B2, right? And there's the B2 bingo! Gov, you mentioned the Gov, and I know that she had made some comments to the media about something like tourists are itching to come to Guam.
Yes, she did. And we had a nice talk, Jerry and I and the governor, a week and a half ago. And we tried to explain to her the essence that we're not looking too much now about giving incentives, for example, to people coming here, other than what we have in place already, and which we're running out of funds for, paying for the PCR going back to Korea, for example. But the fact is that I don't know what kind of more of promotions, because when we had the Airbnb for Taiwan particularly, when we normally spend $600,000 a year to market Guam in Taiwan, the Airbnb program got us over $6 million of earned media alone. Mm-hmm. And the people already know that there's Guam there and they want to come to Guam. I don't think they're looking for incentives. Koreans are coming here right now. I know we're still giving the little incentives on the PCR, but I don't really believe that we're required to give incentives now. Guam is the incentive itself. 3.5 hours away from Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and it's as soon as you get here, it's fresh air, beautiful places to hang out on the beach, and so that in itself is an incentive for these people. They want revenge travel, and I think Guam is poised to be the closest, the best. Hawaii is out of mind already for them. They're just really marketing themselves out of existence over there for in favor of really strict monitoring and the prices they pay for you to go into a beach or to some of the attractions. Yeah. It just makes it prohibitive for these people to really go to Hawaii. They rather take that money and send it to Guam, save it and bring it to Guam. Mm-hmm. And the other thing we're looking at is that because with the advent of the military coming here en masse, not only from the ships coming in, but the families in the United States of America that want to come and see their daughter or their child here in the military, we're working out incentives for them, trying to work out with the airlines. There are charter airlines right now that take people from the United States to Japan. We're trying to work with that same airline chartering group to take them here at a cheaper rate and have them come here and unite with their people stationed here permanently or those that are making port calls.
Mm-hmm. Gov, with the changing nature of the hospitality industry here, and restrictions, not restrictions, widespread infection, herd immunity, all the different things that we've been through in this cycle of the pandemic and everything, have there been any new markets or new types of hospitality, like either attractions or types of businesses, like specific types of things to do here that have performed better during this really weird time than traditional? Because before it was always let's go to the beach, let's take a tour, let's hang out at the hotel and everything like that. Has the market shifted at all?
Well, first of all, we have to realize that there is a great market just within our own population here. Mm-hmm. And when we decided to get people to open up their own businesses that got locked down, and there are some that locked down permanently. but there are people that are buying some of these properties. I'll give you a good example. House of Chinfi closed down. And I asked people that I knew bought into it. I said, listen, guys, if we're going to succeed in this tourism, let's work out the economy with our own population. Open up that really iconic place, House of Chinfi. And Lord and behold, right now it's open. People can go there and order and take out. And hopefully soon, over the next weekend, they will open up for people to go in and eat. That's the kind of encouragement we need for our own population to come out, and for our own business people, the small business, the attractions, tourist attractions, to open up because we have our own people. We have the military here too. So we're shifting back. When I first got here in July of 2020, I felt that we can work out a tourism deal with the military. So we're going back to that again, and hopefully within ourselves, we have enough people to go out and just keep the businesses moving good about it. So, I encourage people to, let's pay back these people that are bullish on the Guam economy the way it is right now, like House of Chinfi, and show them that we appreciate them opening up.
Could you give us some? You touched on some of the key markets earlier. Specifically, you were talking about Korea, but what tends to be maybe the executive summary of exactly what's going on with the Japanese and Korea market right now? You said there's an attraction like that, like maybe by comparison, maybe with us in Sydney or Cannes or Bangkok or Honolulu and some of the markets that we traditionally compete against, we actually look more advantageous.
Well, first of all, I think Korea is about 85% fully vaccinated, Japan about 80, and 79% in Taiwan. Now, all these people are thinking in their own minds that because they're vaccinated, they're a lot safer. I'm not sure about that. As Dr. Nguyen said, that you can still contract the COVID even if you're vaccinated. But the fact is that minimizes the strength of how it affects you when you get it. But Hawaii is the one that I felt, and I'm really happy that Governor Liu and Lieutenant Governor Josh is not jumping in. We beg them, do not follow the strict protocols that Hawaii is putting in. Like one, for example, that in order for them to consider you fully vaccinated, you must have that booster. And we don't want that here in Guam. I mean, that booster just gives you another level, and the protection is already there with the two shots. So I don't see that moving forward, being again put on Guam, and doing another major step for somebody to get that booster before they can travel. So that's one good thing that we're doing, is the governor is listening, and she's finally realized, I believe, by reading her comments in the paper Saturday, that there's really some controllable, but we're living with it. We just control the hospitals and see that we have enough, in case of more people needing to be in the hospital.
Would you classify the Japanese and Korean markets as profitable right now? Like, would you say, obviously it's not as good as it could be, or maybe as it should be and everything, but are you happy with the level of arrivals and how much the average tourist is spending on Guam? Is that?
We're really satisfied that in spite of the fact that there are hardly that flights from Korea, particularly Japan, not so much, but Korea, they travel and they come here and they're really taking that opportunity to get on that flight. Although maybe it's only once a week now with one of the airlines, or two of the airlines, Korean, I think Jin Air, is that they're getting on, they're coming here, and you can see them out on the beach. They can see them out of the sites. They're seeing around museums down there and the cathedral, basilica. So Korea is really the one that we're putting a lot of focus on. Japan is hard to break in right now because of their really strict protocol. They really are, they don't let anybody in now to for business there. And so Korea is the best bet, and Taiwan right now, they've moved back from 15 days to 7 days now in quarantine returning. So things are looking good. I think they're going to realize, as Governor Liu realized, that hey, you're not going to beat this, so let's just go and fight it ourselves individually, one at a time.
Okay. Gov, you were talking about the different types of, and you said, like, I love the fact that you cited that example of House of Chinfi, like one of my favorite places to eat for, like, ever since I was a kid. And, and somebody actually put that in our comments on Facebook earlier today, as they said House of Chinfi, hallelujah, is reopened. But cultural tourism is something that obviously, like a lot of people, they take their cue from GVB and they look to you for guidance. We haven't seen a tremendous amount of the traditional cultural exhibits here. I'm thinking maybe the Gefago Cultural Center and everything. Valley of the Latte is wonderful, and we were so happy when Dave Tydinko and his crew got their operations back up and running. But what guidance have you for the cultural tourism attractions?
Well, first of all, I although they're in place already, like thank God for Tedinko and his group up there, the Valley of the Latte, and they're going to be there, and we're going to support it as much as we can because they're the mainstay. But we, after speaking with the governor, there's got to be a long-range vision that we put together, as we did back in 1995 when we put the long-range vision together for Pleasure Island, and that's what you're seeing down there right now. But there's got to be a Pleasure Island too. And we're doing that right now, the seed money of $20 million plus more, hopefully. We're doing a long-range one. And the theme here is the cultural tourism. Going back to the 1970s when we opened up tourism, the people came here because of Guam itself. The people, the culture, the beauty of Guam, we're getting back to that. Instead of the cheap flights here, cheap hotels. We are upgrading ourselves, because even our children are not familiar with our own culture. And so we're putting this Famaguon thing together. It's a major vision, and hopefully in the next month, we would be unveiling this long-range vision that encompasses everybody and lightens up the load of traffic in Tumon, for example, in Ipaw, where, get the cars out. We have a good way of amassing the cars that need to go park somewhere in a very, I guess I'd say high technology way of parking. And we're doing also not only the cultural part of this theme park, but also it's into a 5G park where everybody is going to have every bit of things that they want here, the culture, for tourists and for our own people. So it's something that I saw in Christchurch, New Zealand, when I went there. Went down and I wanted to go, and I see this place where every ethnic group of people are there, not only displaying their wares, their art, their food, and also not only that, but it also upstates the thing for like a 5G park kind of stuff. And so it's something we're doing, and the governor loves it, the lieutenant governor loves it. And we're trying to make it a public-private partnership. We're working out the kinks right now. We're streamlining the design and the concept. And hopefully, when the governor returns on the 7th of February, we would present the group that would to put this thing together, not just as a GVB project, but as GVB leading it, with some of the other agencies and some of the other private people to come in and make this into a task force to get this thing done.
Okay.
And it's.
Do you have a target specific location for this, Gov, and a timeline of when you could you show it to the governor and she goes, Carl, looks good. Let's pull the trigger.
Specific location, Ipaw.
Okay.
Ipaw Park. The artist group up there in Naftan, the Coral Pit. The whole shebang around here, it's and some private people properties around us. It's there. Everything is when you see this, and when the governor unveils this thing, I think the people will say yes. I think it's about time that when people want to come to Guam, they want to come to Guam to come here, and then they can figure out what hotel they want to stay later. It's not for hotels. It's for people to come here. Let's say for example, there's close proximity of some hotels around Ipaw Park, but this thing can reach all the way down the almost 3 miles of beach down to the other hotels, where we make it easy for the tourists and our people to traverse and not only outside on the beach but in the water. We're going to try to put a water section there where, I don't know if you've ever been to Cancun, where you can go down drive down a bit from the main shore.
Sure.
And you go to this place where you sit there and on the side of the rocks and have millions of fish coming up and playing with your toes. That's the kind of stuff we're doing. We've got people that are interested to do that project because they already know how it is. It's something that's really
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was also kind of thinking maybe a similar concept would be like what the Walt Disney Corporation did with Celebration Florida when they bought all of that unused marsh, and they basically like cultivated it and built that into essentially like its own city, and then they had like things grow around it, and economy kind of like spawned from from the center.
There's properties around here, right? And somebody can be the anchor hotel. They can say the Chief Gatto Hotel,
right?
First Class Hotel, like the Disney Hotel. Those are the things that we want public-private partnership with. We can't do it all ourselves. We don't want to do it ourselves. We want the private sector to run this thing primarily. Besides, the artists and stuff like that. The design is great. I think the people would love it, and that's what we're looking for. The governor really hit this on the head that we need to get something bigger than just come to Guam because there's a Hilton Hotel here or Dusit, all that. They're going to come here, and then they'll, secondarily, where are we going to stay?
Sure. Now, Gov, I guess I'll just ask for selfish reasons because I'm 47 years old, right? And I remember like the old school Guam. If you're putting this much work into cultural tourism, can I just ask you, can you bring back Lantan Antigo? That was one of my favorite places to go.
That's exactly, you hit it right there. Exactly. That's the key. It's the Luncheon Antigo, but in a more controlled manner. That there was too many fightings in Luncheon Antigo. It wasn't well put together. Although it was nice, but the politics of it was not too good. But this one we try to put something in the private sector. Sure. So that the government, how it is when somebody comes over and then politicians get involved.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just like a wonderful field trip to do like when you went to Guam Public School, but it was a rite of passage. You went to Lantan Antigo and you took the glass bottom boat, and that was if you were a young student here, that you did that because that was part of your formative training as a Guamanian. And then you'd always see all of these other these tourists and these foreigners who would go there, and they would be fascinated by it as well.
You see, at 47, you remember that. At almost 81, I remember it too. So I didn't lose my memory on that one.
Well,
but you're right. I mean,
those are good memories for me.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to do something to really bring back tourism the way it started out. It started out because it was Guam, and Guam were the people, the culture, the beauty, and that's why people came here from 1970s on. And we want them to come back for that reason again. And now they have first-class hotels to stay in.
Gotcha. So it's not just like we're basically like a Honolulu light or something like that. We're actually trying to develop a brand that is distinctly, authentically Guamanian and delivers a product you can't find anywhere else.
Exactly. You got it. And I didn't explain it as well, but you found it right through. And that's what it is.
Well, easy for me to say. You're the one putting the plan together and going to have to make that pitch. So sounds like you're really obviously very optimistic about this and very confident in the plans. Would you have a timeline as far as, say the governor says, okay, sounds good, Carl, let's pull the trigger, let's make it happen. How long would it take to actually make this a real tangible product? When we cut the ribbon?
Like maybe 3 years. When I did Pleasure Island, it was about 3 years because there's lands to be to be moved around, infrastructure to be put in, bigger infrastructure like for EPA, for example. And so all of those things have to be put in place. Like Matapang right now, we're trying to fix the infrastructure for about almost $18 million, right, on all the storm drains, etc. So those are the things that, and the governor, I just hope she doesn't start giving away more because we want to need some of that, those infrastructure and utilities money that we need to put in.
Sure. Well, final question, Gov, because I know you got a million things going on right now, including this very ambitious plan about like a premium cultural attraction on Guam. Is obviously any visitor to Guam is going to have to come through the airport. So do you have any thoughts on the third floor of the airport and like being complete, and how satisfied you are with that?
Well, first of all, I wasn't invited to be there, so I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it really is going to do. I think it was because of the variant that only a few people were there to witness, and I think they tried to like time it for the Korean Airlines flight to come in, which was canceled then. But I think it was trying to keep the numbers down. So I don't know. I'm going to go out and take a look now.
Okay.
But I think I know separating the domestic travelers from the international travelers had always been the biggest problem at the inception of the building that airport. And now I think we solved that problem. So that's going to be really good about movement of domestic travelers and international travelers.
Well, sorry, Gov. One final pop quiz bonus question and everything. it seems almost, deja vu all over again, where every time we have you on the show, you've got these amazing, impressive plans and everything like that, and then something comes up with coronavirus or some new variant, some setback and everything like that. How has this actually forced your leadership style, which has been very, very well documented, for generations on Guam? How has this forced you, as a leader and as a strategic thinker, to have to shift your approach to problem solving or to addressing things and to motivating the troops and keeping people, focused on getting the job done?
Well, first of all, realizing that I am not the top of the chain. It's trying to convince the top of the chain and listening to and reading what the governor said Saturday after our meeting. It gave me a lot of hope that maybe we are coming through with what we need to do in Guam to be able to move forward. But I felt, and Jerry and I felt, that in the interim period, we can't just sit here and wait for the tourists to come in from our source countries. We got to start planning for something else for Guam, because we listen to what's missing in Guam, and the part that's missing, and you so eloquently stated it, is the cultural part and bringing back that made Guam a great tourist attraction. And so we decided to do the second Pleasure Island thinking. And Jerry and I were there in the middle of putting Pleasure Island together with Duty Free, and he was president of Duty Free at the time. And here we are together now at GVB, thinking of the next big project to put Guam on the map and have people come here because of Guam.
All right, outstanding. So former Governor Carl Gutierrez, obviously, I would say, before this interview today, I said like the document that outlined the strategy that I was most interested in reading is that forthcoming plan from the Guam Chamber of Commerce, which they said is going to come out maybe like in another month. But now with this plan of yours coming out, I'm really excited to read that one as well. I'm very, very much anticipating to seeing what you got in store for us.
Yeah.
And we've got the governor and the lieutenant governor on it, and putting together a group right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Gov.
Right. Thanks,
Thank
Gov.
you for your time, Gov.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Always a pleasure.
There you go.
Oh, wait, he didn't say it yet.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Still the one. Thank you very much.
That's it. Hey, you don't want to be saying that this year, Gov's election year. If people are going to take it the wrong way, then, All right. Thanks, Gov.
Take care, Gov.
All right. 917.
That's a big plan coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big one. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good interview, Jay, as always. 917 Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the